Should we do a little bit on vibrato?
Yeah.
Okay. There are, of course, many very good books and videos and stuff on vibrato. I think many of them all kind of are saying the same thing in almost the same words, so I'm not pretending that this is anything very, very original. I'll just say that I usually teach wrist vibrato. I have some students who've developed arm vibrato, and I use that with them and maybe give them a little wrist. But I teach wrist vibrato because that's what I'm comfortable to use myself, and just I feel that it's the most basic thing that they can have. And the way I get started, and this comes from years and years and years of myself not having good vibrato and my development, and being only when I came up to the Dounis method did I get some exercises that really helped. Now, if you have a student who hasn't done any vibrato, or maybe has some but it's not really cooking yet, what I do is a simple exercise with a metronome. And this gets the vibrato machine, the little motor, I should say, going. And it does it in such a clear way that people understand what vibrato motion is. Because the thing that I found so confusing over all the years was I never understood what the motion really was. You know, you could see it, but what are you actually doing? So I explained to a student that, you know, the hand has two parts. The thumb part, which goes from here, and, you know, connects all the way down to the wrist arm, and the rest of the hand, which I'm going to call the palm. And there's a dividing line right here between the thumb structure and the rest of the thing.
That's a good one. Which episode?
It's called Pro Metronome.
Good. Very good.
I just happened, I mean, I don't know if it's the best, but I like it. Now, you're going to put the metronome on 60, and you're going to go to a flat surface, like this, and you're going to show the student that they're going to hold the ball of their thumb, and they're going to keep their wrist straight, and they're going to tap downwards. And make sure that they tap onto their nail, not the pad of the finger, because we're going to do many, many taps and you don't want to damage the nerves. Second caution, make sure that they don't go like this and squeeze their wrist down, okay? Because you don't want to get a little tendonitis in there. So you want to keep your wrist and your hand in a nice straight line. Okay, you don't want to do any weird thing this way. So straight line, hold the thumb. And I would start by having the student do 4 taps per second. It has to be nice and even, and they have to do it up to a minute. Okay. And then you're going to build and do 5s. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Now, for some people, you know, who are very quick, 5s, and eventually we're going to go up to 6s, and no problem at all. But sometimes you'll have students who are kind of by their, I don't know, their nature, you know, slow, and they have to build up gradually. And so maybe they try to do a 5, but they strain, you know, and they're kind of trying to go fast by straining. And if you see this, what you want to do is introduce the next speed gradually. And imagine a bar with 4 beats, and you're going to do the 5 just for the first beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rest, rest, rest. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, rest, rest, rest. And during the rest, you see they have the chance to relax completely. That way they get the feeling of the speed, but without pushing and straining their muscles for it. And then you would gradually do 2 beats of 5, rest, rest, and then 3 beats, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then eventually, again, build the 5s up to a minute. And then we get up to 6s. And sixes are, I'm not saying for violists, but for violinists, sixes are about the same, the right speed that you're aiming for. Okay. I think you might be 5, 5.5. I don't know exactly the speed, you know, really beautiful for viola playing. And of course, this is only an average, because if you're up on the highest string, your vibrato might be faster. If you're on the low string, your vibrato might be slower. Okay, so this is just, all I can say is that they've analyzed beautiful vibratos, and on the violin, it's approximately 6 oscillations per second. So you go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay, actually, I've had some coffee today, and I'm above 6. But you can get the feeling. Okay. So you will want to develop this until your students can do 6s for 1 minute. Okay. Take some development of the muscles. When you feel that they can cruise at 6, only then is it time to turn it around and to make it into your vibrato. And I feel that taking the time to develop this little motor makes all the difference. Because then what you'll do is you'll turn it around, like you can do this tapping into your other hand. 1, 2, 3, 4. See, I'm joining my wrists and tapping this way. And then eventually you turn it around this way. And you can tap onto yourself. It's a little awkward, but it can be done. When you've gotten the tapping going this way, then it's time to come to the violin and to start doing other things. And here again, it's very individual. Some students will have enough of a feeling of this, you see that's the motor, that when they put a finger down, oh, it's vibrating. And that's all they need, and they start vibrating. And other students might need, you know, other exercises as well. But this is so developed, you see. You see that it's there. So, and it's not up and down. Remember, it's not the trill motion, but it's truly the palm swinging while the thumb side is stationary. Can you see? Everybody see the motion? You see, so this has got to go.
Right from the beginning, you keep the motion very small then. Even when you're doing the 4s, it's
I mean, I think the motion is actually, I mean, for vibrato, pretty big. I mean.
Right, so that's my question, because when you're doing it this, it seems very small, but when you do this, or this way, it seems much bigger. So, is it just to get the actual mechanism?
I think actually, I mean, in real vibrato, if your hand is well balanced and you got a nice flesh contact, I think this is going to be enough.
Yeah, okay.
So you're right, it's going to be toned down. I mean, I think when it comes to the violin, it'll actually be less than the exercise.
Right, so it seems easier,
Yeah.
more relaxed.
Yeah,
That's
yeah,
great.
yeah. And
So when they put the finger on, they just put the finger on and think about the tapping? Is that?
yeah, I mean, they feel the motion. See, you can do many intermediary steps, like you can have them come to the instrument and do the tapping. You see, I'm doing tapping forward, like this. This is the vibrato motion. You see, oh, you see. So it's just, it's like this. So then they can tap like this. You see.
Excuse me.
No, there are a couple other Dounis exercises for vibrato that I can show you that were mainly given to try to help me my vibrato. When I studied with Brodus Earl, he gave me a whole battery of them. And one of them was, you reach up and you vibrato back. You know, like sick cow kind of. So you notice when you reach up, your hand is out of balance. But as you vibrate back, your hand should come back into balance. There was a variant of this exercise where you kind of just click back. Okay. I never I never liked this exercise too much myself, but it does work for some people, and these are very individual things, you know. So you reach up, and then you either vibrate or click back.
Is that to teach where the balance point is, or?
I think it was to develop a feeling between the thumb and the finger.
Oh.
You know, to develop a sense that you know the finger and the thumb are kind of partnering in the vibrato. Okay. I find that the only thing I don't like about this exercise is that it thrusts you forward. You see, so you're learning to be out of balance, kind of. But the idea is that you're supposed to feel that you come back into balance. So I just want to finish by showing you the vibrato exercise that really helped me the most. And it's called 4 taps and a vib. And what you're going to do is, this exercise really creates the vibrato impulse, which is so key to Dounis's thinking. That the vibrato has to start immediately, and that you need this impulse to start your vibrato. What you do is you are going to be in position, and you are going to tap forwards into a wall. And the wall is going to be like your fingernail. So for each finger, and again, let me start it in third position, just because that's where I would recommend you start with students, is you would take and you pull back, and then you tap forward into the wall, and you can feel it. So what you're developing is this feeling of impulse, which is really the finger tip rolling. So what you would do is you would do 4 taps, boom, 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 and then one very small vibrato. That's why I call it a vib. You don't want the student to start pumping it. You know what I mean? I'm pumping it now. I'm using all these muscles that I shouldn't. What you want is just, when you do the vib, it should be the exact same motion as when you were doing the 4 taps. So here we go. And very valuable is to do a lot of these on the 4th finger and the 1st finger, because those are the fingers that maybe need a little more help. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
So what's key there is the releasing. So
Yeah.
tapping forward and releasing back.
Yeah, yeah. And you can liken it, I mean, sometimes I'll use an analogy in sports and say that this is a little bit like when you prepare, and then let's say you're a batter, and you come up to bat, and you swing back in order to impart energy to the ball. You see, so if I'm swinging and then I meet the ball, you know, home run. And if I'm here, when I pull back, that's like the batter who swings back in order to gain velocity, energy, you see, to hit the ball. And you can feel it. The thing that helped me so much was that I could actually feel the contact when I came forward into the wall. So, notice also in this exercise that you're not going to want to have any fancy-wancy wrist stuff. You know, people will go like this. Well, you want to keep the wrist just natural, you know, and then. So that's 4 taps and a dip.